The egg on the left is a stuck-on, burnt-on disaster. Using the exact same stainless steel pan, the egg on the right releases without a spatula, glides like an ice dancer, and has a delicious, delicate egg white that you'd actually want to eat. The difference? Pan temperature. In this video, I'm going to show you how to master the right temperature for perfect fried eggs in a stainless steel pan. Now I'm going to present you the simple solution, the answer right here at the top. And then for those who are interested in mastering this topic, we will dive into the details afterwards. For non-stick fried eggs in a stainless steel skillet, heat your pan to between 270 and 290 degrees Fahrenheit. Then add salted butter. Wait until the butter stops bubbling. Add a room temperature egg. Wait until the right moment. Give the pan a goose. And boom, that is all there is to it. A non-stick fried egg with a delicate egg white that you would actually want to eat. For those who want to master this topic, let's dive into the details. The problem with stainless steel skillets and all the stuck eggs is people are cooking the eggs at the wrong pan temperature. And one reason for this is there is a ton of bad advice out there on the internet about turning stainless steel pans non-stick. There are countless videos where people say that if you heat a stainless steel pan until a drop of water beads up and rolls around like a ball bearing, and this is called the Leidenfrost effect, the ball bearing test, the mercury ball test, the water test, lots of different names for it, that the pan will be non-stick. Hogwash, I say, especially when it comes to fried eggs. And I've seen lots of these videos where people heat a pan until they get the Leidenfrost effect. They put some oil in the pan and they fry an egg, and a few minutes later they have to use a scraper or a spatula to get that egg to release. What's up with that? You said it was going to be non-stick. What happened? And then the egg is very brown, and if I received an egg like that in a restaurant, I would probably send it back. Now, if you use those Leidenfrost temperatures, 400 to 450 degrees or so Fahrenheit, your pan may be 200 degrees too hot for a nice fried egg. It may work for something like a ribeye steak, but for a delicate fried egg, it is a disaster. Let me tell you and specifically show you what works. 270 Fahrenheit to 290 Fahrenheit works very, very well. Now someone's going to say 268 works, 293 works. Fair enough, it's a fuzzy window, but the window from 270 to 290 works very well. Now the next question is, how do you know if you have your pan in that 270 to 290 window? How do you tell? I'm going to give you three ways. The first and easiest is if you have something like an induction burner or an induction stove where you can dial in a specific temperature. That's the easiest way. Second way is to use either an infrared thermometer or a pan temperature thermometer and get some readings that way. Third way, and here's what I really want to focus on if you really want to master this topic and learn a little bit about cooking, is to learn to read your butter. Use butter and it will give you indicators to let you know if your pan is too hot, too cold, or just right. So let's look at some specific examples here. Here I have this pan at 400 degrees. And just to illustrate, I'm gonna drop some water in the pan and see how it breaks up into many little bitty balls. That's not even the full Leidenfrost effect that happens at higher temperatures where it forms a single ball. What I'm gonna do here is add some butter and watch this. See how it's splattering everywhere, it's going crazy, and there's a flash of steam. I'm not sure if you can tell on camera, but that butter is actually browning in about 2 seconds, literally 2 seconds. The butter is browned. It's going to burn very quickly before you can even get an egg in there. This is an example of way too hot, and the butter lets us know if it acts like this and tells us that the pan is too hot. What about too cold? Here I have the pan at about 210, 220 degrees Fahrenheit. I put the butter in the pan and note how it just gently and slowly starts to melt. That is too cold. An egg will also stick in that pan. Here the butter is just right. This is at 290 degrees. And note how it immediately melts and it starts to bubble and crackle a little bit, but it is not a big flash of steam and going crazy. So to hammer this home, this is too hot, this is too cold, this is just right. And what I'm going to do is wait for that butter to stop bubbling before I add the egg. That bubbling is the water content of the butter turning to steam and evaporating away. And as it does so, it takes some heat out of the pan. The pan temperature drops down to about 248, 250. Now, once that steaming stops, that means the water content of the butter has evaporated away and you're left with nice butter fat. The temperature will start to rise back up. This is a great time to add the egg. Now, for the eggs, make sure you use room temperature eggs. Now, if you have farm fresh eggs, like my father-in-law does, for example, body temperature of a chicken that morning, you don't have to worry about it. If you're in Europe, where eggs are not typically refrigerated, don't have to worry about it. If you're in America, where our eggs are normally kept in refrigerators, my refrigerator is at 34 degrees. My eggs are almost frozen. They are too cold. So you need to let those eggs warm up to room temperature. And if you're in a hurry, you can run a bowl full of hot water and put the eggs in it, and it will warm them up rapidly. And now we wait for it to set up. How do you know when to goose the pan to release the egg? What I like to do is watch the egg white. Once it forms a definitive border with some little bubbles around the edge, almost like watching a pancake, then I know the egg is almost ready. And if you notice here, if we can zoom in, do you see these bubbles underneath the egg white? That is steam underneath the egg white, lifting that white off the pan. If there are bubbles of steam lifting the egg white from the underside, you know that egg has released and it is not stuck. At this point, I give the pan a small goose, and that egg releases and slides very, very nicely. This egg has a tender egg white with no browning. And then you give that egg a flip and you cook it until the yolk is the consistency that you like. And that is it. 270 to 290 Fahrenheit, salted butter. Wait till the butter stops bubbling. Add a room temperature egg. Wait for it to set up. Give the old pan a goose and boom. You've got a perfect fried egg in a stainless steel pan. Now, if you want to see more cooking videos with more helpful tips, make sure you click the link on this screen. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time on Uncle Scott's Kitchen.